My name is Sophie Curtin. I play for the Harvey Norman women's team at the West Tigers and I'm 20 years old. Yeah, I'm studying nutrition science at Wollongong University and I also work at an S&C gym. For me, this season was a little bit difficult. I suffered a knee injury in the first round, which required surgery. So I missed most of the season, but I was able to skim a few games in at the end before COVID hit. The highlight for me was probably making it back. I wanted to kind of set my place in this competition after having a pretty successful year last year and hopefully get an NRLW contract in the near future. And us making the finals again, which was pretty cool to have done every year so far. So I did it actually at training on the Wednesday of the first round. And I didn't know that I had done anything until the next morning when I woke up and my knee was huge and I could hardly walk. And I was very nervous to say the least, but I ended up just strapping it heavily and playing through on the weekend and managed to get through the game unscathed or relatively unscathed. The next week, I was just resting it during the week to see if it got any better, but the second round got rained out and we had to bye the third week. So I was like, sweet, 2 weeks, I'll be able to rest up and hopefully it'll get better. But it didn't. So the club sent me for an MRI and the next day, the doctor, the Tigers doctor, messaged me saying I needed to see a surgeon. And that was around the time of Easter, so I had to wait about a week and a half. And I was in to see the surgeon and I was booked in the next day to have surgery. So the club pretty much helped me organise all of that and deal with all the payment and things like that. Yeah, so I had my hopes to come back for the Bankwest game, which I thankfully made it back in time. That was my first game back because a few years ago, I missed the game at Bankwest due to injury, so it was kind of like a little bit more special for me to make it back to play then. And it was very frustrating because I had the same injury and surgery on the other knee a few years ago. I played with my twin sister basically since we were 10 years old, so it's pretty exciting to have these opportunities now where we can both share together. And luckily enough, we've been able to play together at this elite level and continue to hopefully play together going forward. When Emily and I were younger, we didn't really have anything to look forward to. So we kind of thought that our rugby league, career was over when we were 12, which was pretty daunting at the time. Luckily for us, the Campbelltown pathways or competition opened up when we were 12 and 13, and we ended up playing through to under 18s. And towards the end of that, the Tasha Gao started, and we were too young to play the first year. But obviously, as we got a little bit older and we got a name for ourselves in the first year, we were able to continue on and then play well enough to be asked to come up and play in the Harvey Norman team, where we have stayed for the last few years. But for younger girls now to have the Raw Academy to look forward to and to train in for a few years to get them ready for Tasha Gao, and then hopefully, similarly to Emily and I, go through the ranks and play in the Harvey Norman and then hopefully an NRLW team. The next goal for me is to play NRLW. That's where I think I will excel even more. Having better players around me will hopefully, obviously, make me play better and play to a better standard with playing with those kind of players. The likes of Bo even and Ray in our team in Harvey Norman have helped me a lot with my game, and I think playing with those kind of players more often will only accelerate my game. I think it's important to celebrate because it's not something that has always been around. And even when it wasn't kind of the mainstream thing. So for now, for it to be an opportunity or even a thought for young girls to play rugby league, either at a semi-elite level or a professional level, going forward is pretty exciting. And I think that it's only going to get bigger and better as we go on. I think to enjoy every opportunity that you get and take them with both hands. Like with the Raw Academy, there's no other club that I know of that has any pathways like that. So for any Western Sydney girls, that's a great opportunity to develop their skills and their knowledge of the game and make connections with different people and build friendships and hopefully turn it into, a career in the future. Like I said, to build the friendships and connections and develop their game as much as they can, so that there is an opportunity, for them to play as a professional if they wish, and know that there's no real boundaries anymore with, the women's game compared to the men's.